Hi, everybody. Welcome to Domain Sherpa. We've got a fantastic Domain Sherpa review coming up right now. We've got Drew, Braden, and Alvin Brown on the show. The domain game is back, and we cover some good ones such as religion.org, truthful.com, and SureBlend.com. After that, we get into the Namejet and a Jet segment, sponsored by Namejet, and talk about domains including snowboots.com, cylinders.com, expertseo.com, nylawyer.com, and underwriting.net. Also, big shout out to our other key sponsor, Dan.com, the #1 place in the world to buy and sell your domains with a special platform made for domain investors. So with that, sit back and relax and spend some time with us here on Domain Sherpa, where all roads lead to domains. What's up, Sherpa Network? Thank you for tuning in today. My name is Jonathan Tenenbaum, a.k.a. JT, a.k.a. Jay On, and I am the host and producer of Domain Sherpa, where all roads lead to domains. Today's show is a Domain Sherpa review, where we get into the minds of successful domain investors using real examples so we can learn the strategies and tactics to become more successful domain name investors ourselves. As I say on every show, these are the experts. There are now 4 segments to a Domain Sherpa review. First segment we're in the middle of right now. It's the grand opening. I intro the Sherpas, see what's going on with them. We talk about some related stuff, maybe go off on a tangent here or there, just kind of get things going. We slide into...
maybe? Did you say maybe?
That's what I was laughing at. I was laughing because I was like, maybe. I'm pretty sure that's going to go down.
It's all about having optionality, you know what I mean?
We've been doing tangents. We've been already on for the last 20 minutes.
All right, well, that's why I said I finally was like, I got to turn the, I got to start recording.
We got all kinds of tangents already.
I'm like, I got to start recording because we're already going off. But segment 2 is the domain game, which we actually haven't done in about a show or two because we've had some special segments, which have been really, really cool. But it's time to get back to the domain game and see what's up. And that's where we find out what the Sherpas recently bought or sold. The other Sherpas guess the price. And ultimately, we pin down who the winner is. The winner getting some Domain Sherpa swag, some media option swag, maybe. I think, yeah, show them. All off the market forever.
Oh, yeah.
OTMF. Let's go. All right. And then as we get into segment 3, Namejet and a Jet, we review a list of names about to go for auction on Namejet. Shout out to our sponsor, Namejet, there, and find out what the Sherpas like, what they don't like. Try to get a sense of some interest, some alpha there regarding those particular domains, and then also to understand around valuation and again, names that would be interesting for various reasons, names to potentially avoid for various things. That's what that segment's all about. And then last but not least, we got our grand closing. By the time we get there, we've pretty much covered so much ground that we're usually kind of speed through that. But we do give the Sherpas an opportunity to talk about some things that we may not have talked about that they've got going on, or cover any other things in the industry that we feel are worth discussing or we just happen to cover. So with that, which is that's Braden, right? That's the, so everybody playing the Domain Sherpa drinking game. There you go. Take a shot of your kombucha or your, or your whiskey, your bourbon, whatever it is you're getting into. Chocolate mocha latte.
The drink game is every time JT says, and with that.
And with that. And with that. So
because he says it all the time.
I know. Now I'm so conscious about it. I'm gonna be
every
like,
time you say, you're like, oh damn.
And like
I take a shot.
it's good. That's a good positive development to call me out on that. That's good.
It could be worse.
It can always be worse.
If that's your
it can always be worse.
It can always be worse. Hey, no, we all good. It is all good. So with that, let me go ahead and introduce the Sherpas. I'm gonna go. I'll go in order. I kind of how I do this: clockwise, counterclockwise, whichever way you're looking at the screen. First, we got my boy Andrew Rosner, aka Morpheus, aka the Dirk Diggler of domain names, aka Bob Lee Swagger, the sniper. He's in the building. What's up, buddy? How we doing?
Yeah, good, man. What's going on?
We just living the dream out here, you know? So I'm live from AIP Studios. I got Lincoln behind me.
Trying to remind people we still doing domains in here.
I know. All right, you're right. So I won't even say where I'm at or the fact that we got Lincoln Abraham behind me recording some heat for the zoo. All right, so keeping it around the horn, we got my boy Braden Pollock, aka Tony Stark, aka Benjamin Button, aka the Birdman, aka Eat, Bray, Love. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know, man. I don't know. I come up with these
pray,
things.
love.
Eat, pray, love. I love that. That might be the best AKA yet.
So let's go. Hey, man. Well, I'm not done. Anyway, I'm not even going to go into bios and things for folks who've been on here more than I have. So y'all know what the deal is. And then last but certainly not least, my dude who I've had on the show once before, been on the show a bunch of times, really doesn't need that introduction, but my man Alvin Brown, aka Kevin Durant. That's that Texas tie-in, aka Kevin Hart, which when the last show where you were like, if you're gonna call me Kevin, give me Kevin Hart, man. Kevin Hart, who did buy a Bored Ape, by the way. Shout out to the Bored Ape Yacht Club, aka Alvin Bundy, aka Alvin Diesel. You know what I'm saying? AKA all right. Matthew McConaughey, Austin, Texas, all day. Anyway, that's what it is. For those of you who don't know, domainer, serial entrepreneur, digital strategist, podcaster. Check all that out. Kickstart Commerce, kickstartcommerce.com. He is that dude. And, in fact, one of my most fun podcasting experiences last year was when I was on Alvin's show. So go check that out. He is doing his thing, and always a pleasure to have you in the mix, man. What's happening?
Nothing much. Sitting in a hoodie on the beach.
On the beach.
It's only 24 degrees in Texas.
Oh.
We're having an ice storm down here, so.
Oh man.
Hopefully not a repeat of last year. Hopefully we keep power and I stay on this show.
Hopefully, man. Turn the generator on. So
exactly.
Wasn't there some scandal? Like they were like not allowing you guys to produce more energy or something. They're like, it was like, some of these people, they were like, they're trying to engineer the blackout or something. Like, I don't know.
Well,
listen, we want to be on our own until last year went down.
Yeah.
It was like, hey, we need power, guys. Like, we should have been on the grid with the rest of the other states.
Yes, that's the thing.
Texas is unregulated, and they thought that was cool that they were unregulated until everybody lost power, and they lost power because they're not regulated.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So power companies don't have to do anything. So maybe some laws around that would be good.
Yeah, they truly
maybe
were
mine
off
a little
grid.
more Bitcoin.
They were truly off the grid.
And off the market forever. I was off the grid.
Off the grid forever, yeah. And
off the grid forever.
Yeah. Well, and I think it was cool too, because then you had, certain politicians and things that were like, and I'm not naming any names, Ted Cruz, but homeboy, like as soon as the going got tough, he like was jumping on a plane to Cancun.
He was over here with me.
He was on the beach, and he's like, nah, I was just dropping them off. I was just dropping the kids off. But meanwhile, it was like, basically like, as soon as it got dicey, he was out, and it was like, all right, I'll see you when I see you. Let me know how it goes.
That guy is flip flops and it's like two-faced, and he's like, I love Trump, and he's like, Trump's horrible. And he's like,
he's one of those guys.
I want to like him because he's like one of the only government supporters of Bitcoin.
I know.
But I find it really difficult. That's
a tough one, right? That's a tough one because
the thing is he's actually an incredibly intelligent guy. Like he's actually probably one of the smartest members of Congress, but he's just a
horrible human being.
He's just a horrible person.
Have you ever seen that?
It just oozes out of him too. You could just tell. It's like.
Have you ever seen that blobfish thing? You know what I'm saying? Like he is the blobfish, man. Like, and he is a prototypical politician. Yeah, Google blobfish. Sure. It's literally homeboy. And he is your prototypical politician. Who is like he'll flip flop. All he cares about is getting elected, being in power. Like he doesn't truly care about people. He just cares about his own self, his legacy, and all stuff.
Show me. I literally dare you. Anybody but Braden. Show me a single politician that you actually believe gives a shit about people. Braden will come out here with Elizabeth Warren or something.
No, hey, look. Here's my thing. I don't get me started on her because when you talk, that's the thing.
Listen, there's Hillary Clinton, the Antichrist, and then there's Elizabeth Warren, who's like the little devil on the shoulder of the Antichrist.
We're gonna have to cut out a lot of this political talk, I think, because we're gonna.
No, this isn't even political. This has nothing to do with Democrat, Republican. This is
here's
just
where I'm
straight
at.
up horrible human beings.
Here's where I'm at.
You said I couldn't play, but I'm gonna play Cory Booker.
Oh, Cory, I like Cory Booker. You know what I'm
That's a
saying?
good
Right.
call. That's a good
I like
call.
Cory Booker, man. That's
I'll
cool.
let that kind of slide down the middle, but like, I guarantee you go mix it up with dude. I guarantee you, it's self-interest. But
Well, there's a lot of that, no matter what, right? But I think
Yeah.
that. But again,
You
let me
gotta-
just
but
let me close the
maybe
loop on this.
best intentions.
Let
Maybe
me-
the best intentions.
Let me the best possible intentions in that space, right? That space pollutes people and poisons people, makes it very hard. The system is really fucked, but it is what it is. Let's not make this a whole political conversation
all
in general.
Let's get,
but here's
get
what I
to
want to say
domains.
about the blobfish, right? Is like he oozes that politician vibe that makes it just so hard to like him in any kind of way. He's not the only shitty politician, all right? So let's be clear on both sides of the fence. But the he's just there's it's hard
a
though.
good one.
But when he comes out and supports Bitcoin and crypto, and you're like, all right, well, he makes a good point. You're like, I find myself agreeing with him. That feels weird. Elizabeth Warren being so anti-Bitcoin, really, it's like as much as she is anti-big banks.
Well, no, but
But
I'm
then
not
her whole
even-
agenda is really supportive of big banks when she's talking about her crypto stance, which I think is very hypocritical. So I don't want to
even care about
I don't want to
her
go there.
crypto
You know who I
stance.
like
I
though
care about-
since we're talking
just
Texas.
like-
Wait, we're talking Texas. We're talking Texas.
Yeah.
I like Beto. You know what I'm saying? Is it Beto O'Rourke, right? You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Beto. How do you say
Yeah.
it? I like dude, man. He was like hacker, you know what I'm saying? He was in a band. He seems like a cool dude. He's like walks around barefoot a lot, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm all about the vibes, man. You know what I'm saying? Dude seems like a good dude. I fuck with him. So that's what I'm saying.
I'll say this, regardless to who it is, you're going to have to hold two tensions. You're going to have to hold two truths in tension. And there is self-interest, but there is good. So it's like, okay, well, can somebody actually do good and just do some stuff that you just don't agree with?
Yes.
And just horrible to humans. Yes, it can happen. So it's like, how do you hold that tension? You know?
That's fair. And everyone's got to kind of walk that.
Truth.
Everyone's got to walk that path themselves and decide where they fall on those kinds of things.
Vote your conscience.
Yeah, vote your conscience. I hear you, man. So anyway, this was a great way to kick off the show. I think we're in I feel good right now. I'm excited to talk about domains. This is a Domain Sherpa review episode, everybody. So for you domain maxis, we about to get it. We're about to get into the domain game. The domain game is back. And let's keep it. We're going to go in the order as everybody is for me. So I go to the right, I go down and around. So we're going to start with Drew. What do you got? You got a buy, a sell? Again, for the folks at home who don't know.
Oh man, I didn't even prepare properly. All right.
He has voteyourconscience.com.
All right, hold up.
Blobfish.com. You know what I'm saying?
Cory Booker for president contact.
Hey, I do like Cory Booker. Isn't he? He's dating Rosario Dawson, right? I mean, that's his jam.
Wow.
He's got booed up.
So I mean, hey, like
All right,
that's what's up.
I
man.
got.
That's cool.
All right,
He's
I got
vegan,
one.
by the way. Vegan.
Is he really?
I'm
He
on a
is.
big
All
old
right,
health kick
all
now that
right.
I've kicked into this new year and everything. Like I'm definitely on my New Year's resolution trying to.
My favorite politician going right now is the new mayor of New York.
Okay. I like what's
What's
his
his
name?
name? Eric what? Eric
Is it Davis? No.
no.
Yeah, he's also vegan.
Also vegan and
Yeah.
just a real human being. He just looks at the world not from political terms, just like
Eric Adams. Eric Adams.
exactly.
Eric,
Eric
yeah,
Adams.
Yeah, he's cool.
No,
You can
he's
tell
the truth. He
It's
did
like-
an amazing interview with was it Tim Ferriss or it might have been Rich Roll. Amazing, just phenomenal interview.
He's a good guy.
Yeah.
Who also is a good mayor is Eric Garcetti. It's a lot of people, give him a hard time because, there's 40 million people how many people in LA now? 14 million, something like that. But he really cares. I know
4
Eric.
million.
I've known him for a long time. He's a good guy.
That's cool. It's funny because, you have a bit more standing to for me to talk about the mayor of New York, I didn't even know dude's name, right? So first of all, don't hold my political opinions to really mean much when I'm like, yeah, I like that Eric dude from New York, man. He seems what's up. You know what I mean? And, but as you being in LA and having some insight into all that, your opinion matters more there. And it's hard, man. This stuff is hard. It's, for me, it's like kind of to Alvin's point, talking about this balance between self-interest, not just, for these politicians, but for yourself, right? Like when you're like voting for these issues that matter to you, but it's based on what? Like, it's hard sometimes, I think, when you're making your decisions just based on economic beliefs versus some of the other, you know, sort of societal good and things like that. My challenge that I run into a lot is, and this is just me keeping it real, it's like, you know, I find myself, I find myself leaning liberal on most of the social issues and, you know, more fiscally conservative, right? And sometimes those can be at odds, and it's hard because I think at the same time, government is so bad at a lot of what they do. So the idea that giving them more money to do shit when they're so shitty at everything that they do with managing the money, that it creates this messed up situation where it's like hard to find a right place to fit there, because it's like, you know, it's like, I don't mind paying taxes and I want to help people, you know, but if I'm giving you the money to go do it and you literally are terrible at it, then it's like, it's hard for me to support that just in general. You know what I mean?
Like,
and I think
when I hear about troop deployments to Ukraine, it's very hard for me to cut that check to the IRS. I'll tell you that.
Okay, so now
It's
if we're gonna,
real hard.
see,
That's
this
hard.
is, you know,
All right,
now
let's
it's
move
like-
on. Let's move on, because this is a deep ass rabbit hole.
And
the
with
fact
that-
of the matter is a social liberal.
with that. But here's my thing about troop deployments to Ukraine, though, man. Look, Russia's fucking around. You know what I'm saying? Russia, we let, like,
Nah, man, you
I'm not
listen too
pointing
much to the news.
I'm not gonna say, look, I have my own issues with mainstream media and stuff, but but I do think, you know, that prior people, and I'm not gonna name names, you know, had a different kind of cozy relationship with certain regimes and certain people, you know what I mean? And kind of let people just do their thing at the expense of other people. And yeah, we maybe aren't supposed to be Team America World Police, you know, America.
We're not.
Yeah,
We're just
you know,
not in that position. Let's stop.
but I think at the
pretending
same
that
time, I
America's in a
also,
position to go
man,
play
I don't know.
global
Maybe it's me. I also look at this right and wrong, and you got to help your allies,
All
and you
right.
got to stand
Listen,
up for your
ain't
friends. and
nothing
your
right
people,
about
man.
it. Let's go talk about
You know what I
domain names.
I mean, all right. So, look, everybody.
Listen, when Drew said that he was paying U.S. taxes, I was like, this conversation jumped the shark.
You have no idea. I just cut a fucking check to the U.S. IRS that literally makes me vomit.
Yeah. So, and just to Drew's defense, man, he is your libertarian maxi, you know what I'm saying? Bitcoin maximalist. Like, he's, you know, he's the, you know, expat, all that kind of shit, man. So puts him in that certain bucket. But, you know, at the same time, look, I just would like some people who can step up in positions of leadership and responsibility. And
I thought we were moving on to domain names.
Wait. This is my hope. This is my hope in my heart to just try to close this part of the conversation up, and we're going to talk domains. I just would like to see people who can step up in positions of leadership and responsibility and make good decisions for the good of people. You know, a little less about their own.
I like to hire
self-interest,
people
you know
like
what I mean?
that too.
So I'm just saying that's what I'd like to see. You know, I'd like to see a little less division, a little less a little
It
less
went over
political.
his head.
A little, I know. Hey, I'm ignoring that because I'm on my rant right now. A little less political division too. Like, you know, we're all people. Let's like try to do right by each other. You know what I'm saying? And take care of ours, but you know, consider the broader picture too. So anyway, mad love to everybody. It's all good. Kumbaya. Let's roll. Domain game. Drew, you're up first. What do you got? Buy or sell?
All right. I just bought a domain. It's religion.org.
Ooh. All right. We're not supposed to talk about politics or religion, but let's just get it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I was like, you know what? If it's
Exactly
going to be that
right.
kind of party.
Yo. All right. So religion.org.
Yeah, religion.org.
Religion.org. All right. I'm out on this because I'm conflicted, but
Although I don't think you actually know what we bought it for.
I don't, not yet, but you know, I mean, I could check. Like, go. I know.
Actually, I don't even think you could check because it's not posted up yet.
Did you literally buy it like today or yesterday?
Yeah, we just got it yesterday.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Then all right. Well, let's see. All right. Well, then I will. You know, as long as everybody else on the
Listen
show
to
is
this
cool.
man thinking like he knows something. He's in the dark like you guys.
Yeah. Well, that's what I mean. If you guys are cool with it. All right, Braden, what did you got?
15,000.
All right, Braden with 15K. And why do you think that? Can you give us a little bit of insight?
Because I offered 10 and they said no.
Hey, see, he's got more of the inside, you know, the inside track than I do.
Oh man, that's good, Brady.
So, all right, so Braden with 15K, based on understanding, intimate knowledge of the market, and for this particular domain.
I mean, I didn't know Drew bought it. They didn't counter. That was my offer.
All right, I like it. All right, go ahead, Alvin.
The first number that popped into my mind was 25,000.
Okay.
That seems a bit steep for him, but I'm gonna stick with that number.
I think that's a good guess. And I'll put money on the fact that it's between 15 and 25.
Well, that's
Almost
perfect then
at
for my
17.
guess, because I was thinking right off the bat that this is a $20,000 domain name. And based on, one word.org, it's when we talk about this on the show a lot, the right of the dot, depending on, the left of the dot. And when you have sort of some kind of a synchronicity, if you will, there, it definitely adds to the value. I think this is a great one for a .org. And I think it's kind of right in that sweet spot between both the y'alls. So I'm going to split the middle. I'm not gaming it. I legitimately, that was going to be my guess regardless. So I'm going to say 20K, and we got a lot of ground covered. So let's find out what who's getting the first point of the domain game, the return of the domain game.
This may be the most satisfaction I've ever gotten from giving a price.
Oh, it's gonna be less than Braden's then. He's
7,500.
No.
$10,500.
Wow.
Wow. Wow.
They did not come back. That was my opening offer. They did not come back.
Oh shit.
Did you-
All I knew
wait,
was somebody else offered 10,000, and they said the first one to raise above that gets it. And I said, all right, $10,500. And he said, it's yours.
Give me $500, Drew. Give me $500.
So
to be fair, I also bid 10,000. They said we have another buyer that's also at 10,000, and they said they're not raising. And they said, so if you can raise, it's yours. And I said, all right, 10,500. I was going to offer 10,100, but I thought
they did not. They did not even come back.
Yeah.
So good news, bad news is the bad news is Braden, you could have had that name if you were just bumped up a little bit more. The good news is you got the first point.
If I had said 11,000, they would have told Drew we have an 11,000. He would be like, all right,
maybe not. I don't know. They may have just said, all right, we're done here. But either way, you got the point.
To be fair to the broker, they are well versed in the way that I negotiate, which is basically if you try and leverage my offer, you will never get my business again. So
he used me as a stalking horse.
that's because you're,
What?
Say it.
Give it 500, Drew.
Oh.
Listen, man.
I don't know what's going on right now.
There's there's hard dudes like me, and then there's soft ice. It's like ice cream in the sun.
Oh, come on. Hey,
that's
you.
Braden, for what it's worth, he used that on me this morning on a call. So just so you know, it's not just
you. Soft serve. Oh my God.
He literally said you
Drew,
soft serve
So
in the sun.
2 things.
In the sun.
One is we both offered exactly the same for this name.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. So that's good that we're in alignment there.
Yeah.
And 2, I would have done exactly the same thing if they would have said,
I know.
well, we have a $10,000.
And that's why I get so much satisfaction out of it, because the reality is that you've been trumping me on basically every other domain I've tried to buy recently. And so I feel particularly good to have gotten this one out from under you for only $500 premium.
Right.
Boom.
I don't blame you. I don't blame you. Yeah, I picked up a few good, and I have a couple of good names in the works right now.
I forget what it was. You just grabbed one that I was really hot on, and you got it. And I was like, what? And I think it was the same situation. They didn't come back to me.
I wonder what it was. I just picked up wage.com. Is it that?
No, it wasn't Wage. So wage.com, man, it's a good domain. I'm legit. I'm not trying to like shit on the purchase. It's a good domain, but I own that name for like 4 minutes, like 12 years ago or something, like 10 years ago. I bought it actually Oliver bought it, I think for 18 grand. And then I bought it from him for like 20 grand or 25 or something. Then we sold it, I think for like 75 or 80 or something. Then it sold to like somebody for over 100, I think. Then it sold back to the domain market for like 40. I don't know. That name, has passed through a lot of hands. But I actually always liked that name. It's a CVCV 4-letter word. Can be used for betting. It can be used for jobs or
payroll.
Job comparison, payroll. like all kinds of different stuff. So I like that name a lot. All its applications are high value. You know, I think it's a great name.
I didn't. I mean, I paid market. I didn't steal it. I got a fair price.
75
No. It was more than that. But
buck
You
and a
know,
quarter.
Did you guys say what the name is?
Wage.
WAGE.
This
Yeah.
isn't the one that he's teeing up for the game. This is just a sidebar. This is a little extra alpha.
It is.
for
It's
our
a little
listeners.
bonus. Little
A
bonus.
little
for
extra
everybody.
alpha.
We're trying to what else? I just picked up honeycomb.com. Was that?
Ooh.
Yeah.
Oh,
That-
that's the one. That's the one.
Yeah.
We were working on that name for a while. That was it. That was actually the
Drew,
one.
Drew, wait, hold on. JT, are you grumbling?
No, I'm good. I'm good, man. You know, like they, you know, what's
What?
good?
What's the matter?
I felt a little something come through the screen there. It was a little.
No, it's all good. I just think Honeycomb is a fantastic name. You know, that's one of those.
Yeah, no.
That's like one of those, the one that got away kind of. You know.
Oh
I just-
yeah,
I love it.
yeah.
It's fantastic. You know. what I
No,
mean?
that's an
And,
amazing domain.
yeah.
Amazing domain.
So see,
Yeah.
look at that, man. We got winners all around. With that, let's move on. Braden is next on the domain game. What do you got? You
I
got
got
to
a
buy or
point.
sell?
Let's do
In the lead.
I just sold a name this weekend, so I don't think anybody's heard about it yet. Truthful.com.
Ooh, truthful.com. That's also a great name.
I don't even like that name.
Religion, truthful, politics.
We got good ones. This is all good, man.
Truthful.
Truthful.
All right.
Hold it.
Truthful.
All right. So Alvin goes first.
Who's up first? All right, Alvin.
You sold this name, huh?
I did.
Ooh, man, oh man. Let's go for 75.
I mean, I think that's solid. I think for me, I'm going to go a little higher because I think that, you know, it's a sale. It's a oneword.com. I disagree with Drew. I like this name a lot. I just think knowing that Braden said, I don't know. I'm thinking about the use in the application without doing a lot of research on it. I'm torn a little bit here. Drew said he didn't like it. I was thinking I liked it. Alvin's put a number out 75. Again, oneword.com, Braden selling. Braden doesn't typically sell cheap. So, but I am going to go lower than the 75. I'm actually going to go 50K. I'm going to go 50K. I mean, it's still a very good name. I think the use of it commercially is a little bit limited. So I'm going to scale that back a bit, but that's where I'm at. I'm at 50.
All right. So JT lost. I'm going to go buck and a quarter.
JD
right.
lost.
I'm going to go buck and a quarter. And, you know, I really don't like the name. I like, you know, like if I think about it like honest.com, right? Like honest.com, very successful. But I would have argued even before it was a brand that it would make a great brand. Truthful is almost like the antithesis of like, I know it's almost like defensive. It's like, we're not lying to you, right?
That?
Whereas honest is kind of like just straightforward, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I think honest is a
Yeah.
more organic
Truthful
term
is like
for
almost
honesty.
like on the back, you know, it's almost like you're on your heels. It's like we're trying to defend ourselves. I don't know. But I'm gonna say buck and a quarter for basically all the same reasons that these guys said. Braden, track record, all that stuff. So yeah.
Okay, so I mean, I agree, Drew, about your assessment, right? It's kind of the third tier of that name. You got true, truth, truthful.
Yes.
It's definitely not the best version of that name. I've had it a long time, like 7.5 years. I bought it in late 2016. I paid $4,000 for it.
Wow.
And so, you know, I took a flyer on it because for $4,000, I'll take it, right?
Yeah, of course.
I had a bin of 40 and I accepted 35.
Man,
I can't even believe it. Not only did I lose, but I even flexed on the dude. Jeez.
Oh, I mean, hey.
Yeah.
Oh, did you mean by lose? You meant win, right? So you weren't being truthful, were you? You weren't being truthful. I really do appreciate though too the way Braden and I actually agree with everything you said though. it does sound a bit almost defensive. If you know, like you said, honest, true, truth, all are very straightforward, kind of organic words around the idea of honesty, right? And truthful just seems a little bit like you're trying too hard. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I think Braden, I love the way you kind of broke it down too, where you talked about the tiers based on the actual like the word itself, like breaking it down to true, truth, truthful. I think that's also like kind of a fantastic way to look at it, a name like that. When you're really, you know, again, breaking the actual word down like that. I think that's really, really cool. So yeah, but look, hey, at the end of the day, I mean, you're talking about a 10x, you know, a pretty nice return, and you know, on a pretty solid domain name. So another win, no matter how you cut it. I mean, well, you did have to spend 7 years of renewal fees, so you know you had to take that into account. But
No, I don't.
Yeah, that $49 that it hurts.
exactly, that's my point.
That changes the math.
That's the joke. All right, so all right, cool. Well, let's keep it moving. Alvin, you're up.
So before I go, so the interesting thing there, one thought that went through my mind was about the whole full part of truthful, right? I think that there are just a certain category of words that it does you more harm, right? So in this case, it's like you couldn't afford truth, but you went for truthful. So what else are you withholding or hiding? It'd be like saying transparent versus transparency. It's that same thing. It's like, okay, well, why couldn't you afford, obviously, if it's taken and already developed, that's one thing. But if it's not, you just have these categories of words that you really want the root word and nothing else.
Yeah. No, I think that's a fair point. It's almost like you couldn't afford the real thing, you know? So, I don't think it's,
ain't
that's
nothing
severe,
but the
but
real thing, baby.
all right. Well, keep it moving. So yeah, no, I think that's also a very, very good point. I think it does kind of show sort of like, it's still, there's still room to climb from there. Right. And so if you're going to spend real money, it's like, how much further do you have to extend to get a name that you really wouldn't ever need to upgrade, And, we talk about that all the time with, different domain extensions, right? And then, I think that's also something to consider too when you're looking at the names themselves. But hey, look, it's still a very valuable domain name. It was still a great flip for Braden. So all in all good. But no, all interesting points. So good stuff. All right, man. Well, what you got? Buy or sell?
Gotta sell.
All right, sell.
The name is SureBlend.com.
All right,
SureBlend. Okay. It's a good name.
SureBlend.com. All right. I like this for a couple of things, right? This could be, you got a smoothie shop.
Like there's no bad drugs, only the wrong dose, man. You got to have that SureBlend.
I see this as a, blender, right? You selling, you got a new blender. You got a, you selling like, the protein.
It could be paint mixer, could be chemical mixing, could be pharmacology, could be biology, could be,
nutrition.
Could be a dating site.
I don't know about that, but this is still my turn. So why don't we just keep it here? You can take it. You could take it to all sorts of weird places when it's your turn, sir. But I dig it. Obviously, twoword.com. I think it's cool. I think there's a lot of applications here. Did you buy it? You sold this, right? You sold it. All right, cool. So I think this is a name that you bought probably, NameJet or Snap or GoDaddy Auctions, one of those kinds of things. Picked it up in the drop pretty cheap. But I think then you probably sold it for a couple grand, probably with a buy it now. It's just, did you have it listed at $4,999 or did you have it listed at $3,999? I'm going to say you sold this for, $4,999 is going to be my price. And to the dollar based on the scenario that I just described. So that's where I'm at. All right, Drew, you're up.
All right, I'm going to say 9888. And I actually think that this is one of those names that I preach about all the time that like it's just great 2-word brand, just nothing wrong with it. And it goes right into the $10,000 to $25,000 bucket for me. But Alvin likes turning names. I don't blame him. So I'm going to say 9888.
Braden?
I'm going under. I'm going to go 4,500.
That's you Price is righted me. You Bob Barkered me, man. You know what I'm saying? You did. You Bob Barkered me in this.
Just I'm going for the point.
Hey, we were not supposed to do that. That's against the spirit of the game. I only feel that way because if you win, if you get the point, you win. If I get the point, I win. So then if Drew gets it, then we got this 3-way tie. We got to figure that out. Alvin's going to have to drop another name on us or something. So, all right, talk to me, man. What's up? What'd you do?
Braden gets the point.
Okay, wait. So let me guess. You sold for just under 3,000.
I did.
You see this somewhere. You see it on you seen it?
No. I just like Alvin turns names. He doesn't price them high. He's not I'm not gonna call him paper hands, but because he picks them up cheap, and he's he's like 2,500, 2,900. Like he just turns names.
Yeah, no, I mean that's why it started the whole thing where I said 4,999. I know that he had a buy it now price that he put on this thing, and and I'm sure that he 40x'd it in the process, and so let's find out talk to us, man. What's the deal?
Yeah, so I actually got caught in my strategy. So obviously I swing names all kind of price points, right? So this name actually started out where Drew said, which was at 9,988. And then I kept it there for a period of probably about 30 days. Moved it down to 5,000. Nothing happened. And so I was like, okay, well, let's just see what happens. Moved it down to $2,888. And the next morning I woke up, bang, it was gone. I was like, oh, geez.
All right, hold up. Can we hang on this for 1 second?
Of course.
Exactly what I said. Exactly. Didn't I say like $2,900?
Well, for what it's worth, we all picked the various price points that he had the name listed at, and where it didn't sell.
Yeah, that's funny. Actually, we did. We all.
Literally. That's why I was sitting. I was like, man, this is funny because that's the story. That's what happened. I was because I
actually Braden was the most wrong.
Yes. Yeah. So
because I mean, the list price was exactly the number I said to the dollar.
The change price was literally my price
to the dollar, what JT said, and you were just close, but you
didn't. You just gamed this. You just gamed it.
No, you still won the game. You still won the game.
I said I'm gonna take the under for the point. But then when he said I was right, I said you sold it for under $3,000. I volunteered that. I said under 3,000. I sold
you did.
Like $2,500 or $2,900. He sold for $2,900.
Drew went out of his way to try to devalue Braden's win.
If I was to guess an actual number, not just go for the point, which I would have, if I was not the last person, I would have just picked the number, and I would have picked like 29 or 3,000. I would have picked that number because I volunteered it.
Yeah, so for sure.
It's on video. Roll the tape back.
Roll it back, Billy. Give us a quick snippet real fast. Do it.
Braden gets the point.
Okay, wait. So let me guess. You sold for just under 3,000.
I did.
Good. So what'd you buy it for?
So I picked up the name in February 2017 for $123.
Yep. So yeah. So I mean, you turn that into you 20x'd it, and so interestingly, so you said you only had it listed though initially at the 10. So when did you sell it? Did you sell it recently?
Yep.
So had you not listed it for a while, or what were you doing in between that time?
So no, it was listed, but it was listed well outside of a scope.
Got it.
Was only matter of fact, it was only make offer.
Oh, okay.
So it wasn't listed with a buy it now. And then once it fell into my radar in terms of, all right, let's take some of these make offers and start to turn them into buy it nows. Then I started playing with pricing, and
that makes sense.
Got caught on the lower end of it. So
well, I guess it's still higher, look, you sell that quickly from a price change, and you're like, man. But then again, that's why you're changing the price is to sell the domain. So it's kind of like and Drew, we talk about this all the time. It's like once you want to sell something, right? I mean, we talk even in NFT terms, you're just comparing it to the floor and all this kind of stuff. And it's like, oh, I could have squeezed an extra this or that out of it. Once you've made up your mind that you're like, hey, this is the return that I'm comfortable with, and you put it up there, you change
Once
the
you
price.
Want to sell, you price something to sell, period.
Yeah, and that's what you did. I don't think, it sold quickly because you priced it well to sell. That's what you were trying to do. You know what I mean? Like you made the conscious effort of saying, okay, I'm okay to take this amount. And just because it happened quickly, you're kind of like, I mean, I've never sold anything that I didn't immediately regret or think that I left money on the table. But so no, I get that. But I think it's, and I think it's also, again, another win of, buy low, sell high.
Yeah.
And,
All right, but hold up. I want to just hang here for 1 second. So the way that my mental framework works on pricing and just the plumbing of the domain system and the way buyers come in and the way they make decisions flies in the face of your strategy. But your strategy works. So I want to understand the way you think about this. So, all right, you've got a domain like SureBlend.com. Now you have no indication of whether or not there's demand for the name, right?
Correct.
Okay. So you go out there, you say, all right, this is priced in, and clearly you were thinking about the same as me. Like you price it at the exact same price that I said, right? So you price that thing at 98888. Now, after 30 days, in your mind, what is it that changed? Like, so do you believe in the way that you do this, your pricing, do you believe that in that 30-day period, anybody that would be a qualified buyer, for the most part, obviously we're just talking general here, but like, do you believe that the buyers that would be qualified or interested to buy that name would have somehow discovered that listing and seen the price? And then because they didn't act, you're reducing the price to try to drive demand? Is that more or less the way you're thinking about it?
Yeah, and so you look and go, there's probably, X number of folks that either may have been eyeing the name for quite some time, and if they see, hey, it was going to a GoDaddy lander, but then now it's going to a Dan lander, which that's where it sold at, was Dan. I often just will price it, wait 30 days, obviously looking at data just to see, okay, how many visits were to the page. If there were a lot of visits, a lot of times I may up it. And so I may go from, 9,000 upwards to probably like 13, 14,000. And sit there for 30 days, set a reminder, go back. If traffic has dipped, then it's kind of like, all right, well, let's just swing it all the way back. And I may drop as low as that 6,000, 7,000 mark. And so it's this seesaw effect of what you're hoping for, at least in my case, is that somebody over that period of 3 to 4 months of watching, that they see like, oh man, the price is changing, that you're hoping it's going to be an impulse of, oh, they saw it at this price, it's that price, commit.
So let me ask you something. Do you have any feeling one way or the other? Do you think that what drives the actual like purchase decision more, raising the price or lowering the price?
I don't know. I really don't know. I will say that in this case, so one bit of information missing from this is that when I initially posted it, it was make offer. And so I did receive a couple offers, and that plays into the pricing game then, because if I get a make offer and I don't accept it, and then I get another make offer from, someone else and I don't accept, then I know that I have people that are, they're likely eyeing it and watching it over the long course of time. And so I just begin to play one another, hopefully against, one another, and hope that, hey, they see these price swings. Well, they don't know what the next one's going to be. And they don't necessarily want to be priced out of that.
That makes sense. That makes sense. That's interesting. I tell you, no, I'm super intrigued because I don't use any of that data that you're talking about, but primarily my interpretation is that you're looking at the traffic data and inquiry data to judge demand, which obviously makes a lot of sense. At one point, many years ago, Frank Schilling was given a keynote, and he said that his thesis was that 20% of all traffic on a generic domain name is domain purchase demand. Doesn't mean it's a qualified buyer, but it just means that it's somebody looking to kick the tires and find out, is this domain for sale? Could it be bought? I'm interested in the domain, whatever, the full spectrum of demand, but from unqualified to qualified, but 20% of the traffic is always people looking to buy the domain for one reason or another. And so that's an interesting point, which probably is not a revelation for most people, but it is for me. So That's interesting.
I think there's a lot of value in picking up a name for 100 and whatever, 140, 150 bucks and pricing it, getting 20x on it, but putting it in that sweet spot. Like anything under $3,500 is an impulse buy.
Right.
And I think that if you can keep it there, it's worth
Anything under what?
like $3,500.
Okay.
Right. I think if you can keep your pricing there, you're going to see a lot more sell through than if you're trying to moon everything. Now there are names that I've purchased for, $2,000 and put it up for 150,000. There are names that I definitely take moonshots on, but I don't always do it. Like Truthful. I mean, I have my reasons. I didn't think it's the best name in the world. So I did put it at 10x, and sold it at 9x. But I don't think we should always try to moonshot everything, because you're not going to have as much cash flow. Now you will have one big sale and you have a huge margin, and that's great, but you still need to turn names. If you're going to make a living at this, you need some cash flow. And if you can get a 20x return, like that's fantastic, right? So there's nothing wrong with that, particularly if you can put it in that under $3,500 bracket. So
I think that's a great point. And I think that, when you talk too about process, and everybody's process is different and their budgets are different. But there's a lot of money to be made. There's a lot of meat on the bone in that, acquiring names in the several $100 range and selling them for several $1,000s, right? Because like you said, those can be impulse purchases by other domain investors. You don't need necessarily end users to be selling domains for $3,000-$4,000. Plus, that's a price point that is also feasible for more of your mom and pops. I know Alvin sells a lot of those kind of names to those smaller businesses, right? That aren't, funded and backed and, but successful businesses that want to establish a stronger online presence. We've all gone physical to digital. That's the trend. It continues to be and will continue to be the trend. I think, again, that's very much a sweet spot we see, especially with, the buy it now pricing and everything else. So, yeah, no, look, this was a great conversation, guys. I love this. This is what the show is all about, man. This is what we do here on Domain Sherpa. We got that domain alpha for all y'all. So with that, I'm going to jump real quick to a commercial. Big shout out to Dan.com, everybody. They are our lead sponsor and the #1 place for domain investors to buy and sell their domains. They've got a lot of really incredible stuff happening on the platform. They continue to innovate and do some great things. Huge shout out to them and their team. And then we're also going to jump to a quick commercial, and then we will come back here on Domain Sherpa and continue with segment 2, which is Namejet and a Jet, also sponsored by our friends at Namejet. So let's go, and we'll see you back here in a minute.
Media Options is the industry's leading domain broker specializing in domain acquisitions, high-value domain sales, and domain name consultation. As pioneers and thought leaders on the subject of the domain aftermarket and domain name value, plus through their clear domain acquisition service, Media Options offers startups and established corporations an unparalleled scope of high-value domain options, providing access to domain names and curation technologies not available elsewhere. Media Options believes in the power of a great domain name and is dedicated to helping you obtain yours. Call or email today to put a domain to work for you.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Domain Sherpa, where all roads lead to domains. We just got done with segment 1, which was the domain game. Congratulations to Braden. You won. You got to let us know what swag you want. I know you already got the hoodie, but I don't think you've got the off the market. No, you've got the astronaut hoodie.
I got the astronaut. I do not have the.
You got dope stuff.
Yeah, he's got good. He's got.
I don't even have the astronaut hoodie.
Yeah.
Neither do I.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we'll make that happen. We'll fix that for everybody.
To be fair, I don't even have the off the market forever hoodie. I got nothing.
No, you don't have any of the hoodies?
I literally don't own a Media Options hoodie.
Hey, I was wondering why this thing said Drew in the back.
It is not true that you got nothing. You got the bill for all those hoodies.
Yes,
yeah, that's
exactly.
true.
Somebody had to cut that.
I sure did.
Exactly. So, all right. Well, we'll remedy that. I got a few other people, man. I think I'm going to probably get Andrew Miller's probably going to text me like as soon as this show drops and be like, "Where's my hoodie, man? Where's my stuff?" Because I do owe him some stuff too. So, all right. Well, look, we're diving into segment 3, which is Namejet and a Jet. names coming up for auction on NameJet. We got a big old list today. I think I literally have like 18 names on the list. So there's a lot of stuff. We've got about 20 some minutes to go through it. And I think, let's see, what did I say was the order of?
I don't know, but I literally got happy because I was like, oh, snap, Drew let Kickstart.com expire. I was like, what?
Oh, yeah.
Too bad it was Kickstand.
Well, you can be Kickstand Commerce. Kickstand Commerce, you know? Like,
I guess that'll be like a knockoff of Lemonade, or what is it? Lemonade Stand or something?
time to rebrand. All right. Well, you know what? You actually are on the list as going first. So let's talk. So talk about Kickstand. You like that name? I mean, it's not Kickstart, but do you like it?
Oh, I liked Kickstart, but darn it. I got these letters all crisscrossed. So Kickstand. So yeah. So I guess that's all I'm left with in that regards to that name is a Kickstand.
No bike, just the Kickstand.
No bike.
I like Kickstand though, man. It's like, it's support, right? It's propping up, like it's support, exactly. Man. That's what Kickstands are all about, Plus
so I like Kickstand. I like the expert SEO, obviously snow boots. So things that I often lean towards, like development. And so for me, it's those things are geo. So like that NY lawyer, you can get away with New York lawyer there. Obviously there's tons of competition. I'd be really interested to hear Braden's thoughts on that one. But the one that kind of made me say, there was a couple that I just say, hey, kind of stay away from. The one for me was inducement. For whatever reason, I just got a kind of like a negative connotation towards it. I mean, I know it can be used in.
Yeah, well, it's interesting from a legal standpoint. There's a claim, cause of action, which is fraud in the inducement, right? Which is basically, So I think that when you look at, so I think you're right about a certain sort of negative piece tied in there.
Listen to you. You've been listening to your legal podcast.
Hey, I got to get on.
You.
I had to get so many hours of CLEs done, like in December, that I listened to, and I try to get as much as I could around crypto and NFTs and startups and stuff. But then you start going, but there's only so many podcast or CLEs that you can get that are relatively new.
By the way, for all of those listening, a CLE is continuing legal education. Lawyers have to take it.
Yes.
Every year, mostly ethics.
Yes, I had to do the ethics stuff.
You have to take legal education every year to maintain.
Every year, and it's really kind of a scam. It's funny. I saw somebody posting. It was actually the GC at Coinbase, who I'm connected with on LinkedIn. And he was like, "Man, does this stuff like actually help people? Or is this just?" At the end of the day, it's it's a regulatory kind of compliance thing, and. But anyway, but it's a process we got to do, keep us sharp and on our stuff, I guess. But yeah, so I would agree with you. I think inducement's an interesting one. Well, I think it brings up this thing about, we talk about oneword.coms all the time, right? And sure, not all oneword.coms are created equal. And this is one of those where it's like, what do you use it for, right? And, it has Estibot valuations being what they are. We always throw out the disclaimer, domains, that doesn't necessarily dictate value, but just as a data point to give us something to talk about or a frame of reference. A $20,000 appraisal or what have you, I think that's obviously, for me, that's too high. What do you guys think about that? But let's talk about that name.
Well, it made me think back to the previous conversation earlier on about, there we are looking at the word induce, right? And so now it's inducement. So again, which one would you want? And two different meanings, but yet the root word is induce here.
Yeah, and induce is.
I think that the easiest way to determine if a name has value is if it's being used, right? And so Estibot can be off for a variety of reasons, because it can be comping against another 6-letter domain, right? So it could be entirely different word.
Yeah.
So the easiest, quick and dirty way to determine if it has use is just go to LinkedIn, type in that word, and hit companies, and then look to see how many companies are using that word. And it has to be a word. It has to be like they're actually using the word. It's not like it's not prepended by something else, which might change the meaning. So I just put inducement.
Although the prependment is not necessarily a a negative because a lot of domain sales, particularly large domain sales, are, an upgrade or a shortening of a name, right? So it's blah, blah, and they shorten it to blah.
Inducement Industries wants to get down to inducement.com.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Let's go.
Okay,
Great
so-
inducement, get inducement, try inducement,
Well,
inducement group.
But I'm talking about there was a name I looked up yesterday. I did some digging on the name, and it's like it wasn't used independently. It was always used with something
Yeah.
else. And so
Yeah.
that's fair.
basically nobody was using that word. Okay?
Yeah.
No, I think that's a good point.
So in this case, inducement, 0 companies, which let me tell you something, like almost every word, there are several companies in India that use that word. And I kid you not.
A lot of people.
There's one result, and it's Success Inducement Center, and it's 0 content, 0 followers. It's just
Because they need that inducement.com domain name to take their business to the next level,
At some point in history, somebody created an LLC or a DBA or something that used that. And so LinkedIn scraped that and put it up, and it's got 0 usage. And so this may not even exist anymore if it really ever did. Nobody's using the word inducement as a business. And if nobody in the world is using this name for their business, this is not a good buy.
Right.
I think that's a fair point. That's great. So, well, look, since, and I think that's great feedback. So why don't we stay with you, since Alvin rattled off a bunch that he liked and one that he didn't. What else do you like? What else don't you like? Let's talk about what would also be good, at a wholesale versus retail, or just a good investment, what you think you might want to pay. And again, I really do think even pointing out why you would avoid certain names is really great for folks that, as they're kind of getting their legs under them in the space, so they understand just because something,
especially the one where everybody's like, oh, oneword.com, but they are not created equal,
Mhm.
right? Inducement is certainly a word, and we all know what it means. However, it's just not a good brand.
Right.
Don't buy that name. Okay. And I don't have any bids on it, and I have no plans on buying that name. You will have it forever if you buy it. So the first name on the list is Amici, which is, I think, a great word. It means friend or friends in Italian. There's a chain here in LA called Amici Pizza, which has been around since I was a kid. I assume it's still around. And I'm sure there's other Italian restaurants called that. If it means friends, there's gonna be a lot of companies called that. So that's going to be a good shortener for a lot of companies, including Amici Pizza, assuming they're still around.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like Amici
Yeah,
Pizza,
but what's your pizza place paying? You know what I'm saying?
Oh, no, I think.
You know what I mean? It's like, all right, Braden, you get 1 free pie a month for life. That's the equivalent of about, $2,000.
No, I think you make a good point. Now, let me expand on the point that Drew's making. Don't buy names that make a good gym or a good restaurant or a good,
Yeah.
name that
If
end
you
in
want a
cafe.
scalable price, you need to put it, you need to find a buyer that's scalable business.
Unless you can buy it
Boom.
cheap enough, if this is a name you're buying on the drop, it's $100 or something, and you
Yeah.
can sell it for $1,000, fine. But it
Sure,
has to be within the budget that a restaurant has, or a barber, or a cafe, or like, who's your target, right? And if your target is a restaurant, a pizza place, they don't have much money. Now, Amici, on the other hand, means friends in Italian. So there's gonna be other companies with this name. Amici Pizza is a chain, so it is possible that the corporate, the corporation might want it. I don't know. I mean, maybe they've been pitched already a few times and they're not interested. And I don't know how big that company is. I just know it's been around a long time. But I think that's a good name. It is probably a mid 5-figure name or upper 5-figure name, retail. So, if you can get it under, for $5,000 or something, I think it's worthwhile.
Yeah. No, I mean, look, and we've got an Amici restaurant here in town. And, like you said, I mean, friends in Italian, friend, pal in Greek, it's like all that. Like it's definitely one of those that, it could be a salon. It could be, products around that same kind of thing. Although friends, I wouldn't necessarily, but just the way that what it sounds like to me.
Wake me up when you're talking about a business that's got money.
So here's the thing.
Yeah,
Here's
100%.
one thing though. Here's one thing I'll add to that though. like if you're going to go after that type of a name, looking at restaurants, salons, barbers, that I would say price it on an installment plan and make sure that installment plan payment looks like a cell phone payment.
Yeah. Okay. I'll buy that. Yeah. Especially for a local business or,
Right.
you know, yeah, I think that's and so real quick, one thing we say on the show all the time too, I mean, you know, domains all have a price at which they make sense to buy them unless they're completely junk. But, you know, so a name like this, if you could get it for, you know, $500 to potentially be able to sell it for close to $10,000, I mean, that's, you know, the juice is worth the squeeze in that point. You know, if you're trying to find a name that you can buy for 10,000 and sell for 300,000, you know, this is not that name. I think you bring up another great point too, which is, you know, knowing your buyer, understanding like what they can afford, and then being able to present terms or, you know, a name that works that they can afford with terms that they can afford. I think that's also, and we've seen the payment plan thing become just a lot more prevalent. We do plenty of those with our business. We talk about that a lot. Quick shout out to the ICA. You know, they've got their domain leasing agreement up on their site. So if you're an ICA member, even if you're not, I think you can go onto the ICA site and grab it. So quick shout out to them. So yeah, so all good stuff. So Braden, what else do you like or don't like on the list?
He likes
Just real quick, I typed in Amici in LinkedIn, 936 results. And some of these, Amici Digital, Amici Pharmaceuticals,
Pharmaceuticals, let's go.
Amici Procurement
Again, that
Solutions.
drug
All
money.
these have over 1,000 followers. So not necessarily huge, but you know, decent.
Maybe worth waking Drew up for. You know what I'm saying?
So,
Drew, wake up, man.
So I mean,
Amici Digital they got 6,000 followers.
All I
Wake the
heard
fuck
was
up.
pharmaceutical, and I started back ordering this thing.
Right,
There you go.
so
No, hey, I
pharmaceutical company, you know, not always huge, but oftentimes,
right.
right? And they're using AmiciPharma.com. I mean, they only have 9 employees on LinkedIn.
Yeah, but still,
But
there's
what
an
I will
upgrade
say is
opportunity.
pharmaceutical companies are generally not great buyers. We've had a few wins, but the vast majority of names we've tried to sell to pharmaceutical companies, they just don't care.
Well, I think it depends, but I think at least you're talking. But hey, then you start getting in the ballpark of companies and industries and spaces that have the actual funds, and it matters more, or at least the ability to do that.
But the point of this conversation was you don't necessarily want to buy names for restaurants and tiny little businesses. You can't say, oh, that's going to be a great name for a trainer. Well, how much money does a trainer have, right? I mean, if you can price your name for $1,000, fine, then sell it to a cafe or a barber or whatever. But otherwise, good luck. You know, there's limited upside. All right, moving on.
No, that's good. Though. It's all good stuff.
You know, as you know, I like oneword.net. So catalyst.net, I think is a strong name. I shouldn't say that because now people are going to bid against me. But it's not worth that much. You know, that's sub $1,000 wholesale name. So if somebody's going to be like, oh, great, Braden likes it, I'm going to go spend $2,000 on it. Well, you know, good luck with the margin. Cylinders, cylinder.com would be much better. But cylinders maybe is a plural. I'd have to do a deeper dive on that.
What do you use that one for?
Yeah, because I mean, it's definitely a product name as when it's plural. If it's singular, it could be anything. So I don't know, but you know, shapes, and I sold like triangular, I think, and then Josh Reason sold circular or something like that. Like sphere, I think. Sphere was that
something like that? Yeah.
Either way, though, I do think spheres. I think triangular. I think, you know, those are a lot. You know, to me, you get cylinders. It's like spheres. I think you can kind of see how, and sphere obviously.com is a great name. So I think, you know, so, you know, I think you start getting into cylinders and kind of like you said, and it's like, what do you, you know, it's like,
it's the redheaded.
I'll trade you dodecahedrons.com for cylinders.com if you want.
I mean, I just think storage, right? Like it, but it's like such a specific.
That's actually not, no, I don't hate that though. That's actually pretty,
like,
you know, I like that. You know, cylinders.com. If you got like a storage thing, you could do some pods or some other kinds of things. That could be kind of cool, you know, okay.
Or some, man, I'm going to date myself, some Tupperware line.
You know? Hey, man, no, how are you going to hate on Tupperware? You're not dating yourself with Tupperware. You're just telling me you're pragmatic. You know what I'm saying? You saving those leftovers. I get it, man. I appreciate that.
And you can't date yourself on this pod. You're the youngest person here. So
Exactly.
Um,
Exactly, man. I got a doctor said I need a baggy-otomy. So all right, well, yo, let's keep it going. What else? And then let's move on to Drew and see what Drew thinks about the 6 names you haven't mentioned.
I like Kickstand. I think it's a decent brand. It's not
I like
high
Kickstand
value,
a lot.
but it's a decent brand. And I'll talk about NY Lawyer. Okay, so here's the problem with that name. On its face, it sounds like a good name. How many lawyers are in New York? A ton. Okay. They don't all practice statewide. It's a big state. Some do. I mean, if it's like intellectual property or something, they will. But if they're a criminal lawyer or someplace where they need to go to court, then they're not going to be statewide. So that's you need to differentiate between a lawyer that has to go into court versus a lawyer that doesn't have to go into court. Big difference. Geography matters when it comes to domains. The other thing that's important is there are 4 versions of this name, all with equal value. NY Lawyer, lawyers, attorney, and attorneys. Same value. What's happening with the others? Okay. I just looked them up. All 3 of the others not being used. I don't know if they're available. I don't know if there's no landing pages. I don't know what the deal is with them, but you're up against those. So if you buy that and you put it up for $3,000, but the other ones can be purchased, can be registered or purchased for $500, you're never going to sell yours, right? So you don't want that competition. So know what's happening with those other versions, or you're going to get stuck.
And I think that even to your point, I think that's also really, really great feedback. And obviously you've got a really, a great sort of, history with lawyer names and experience and expertise around that. I mean, that's partially your jam. For the folks who don't know, that's like literally Braden's thing.
So I got my start for years,
Yeah.
and I still have a couple thousand legal names. I mean, I wish I didn't, but I'd rather focus on the premium stuff. They're a tough, slow sell.
Yeah, but I would agree, and I would agree 100%. I think when you talk about the NY Lawyer, I think that's actually more attractive of a name for someone not in NYC. You know what I mean? Because I think if you're in Manhattan or any of the boroughs, right, you're probably pretty much centered in the city and very focused on that stuff. I think NY Lawyer almost works better for somebody upstate, Syracuse, something like that, where and then you've across, and I'd be interested to look too at the numbers of lawyers and firms in NYC versus the broader, like, upstate New York, because it's probably, even though a much larger land size, much smaller, and those that maybe aren't making as much money. So therefore, their budgets are smaller and all that kind of stuff. So, yeah, I mean, I think that's also, so this is, this show is all about what not to buy. This is the what not to buy show, you know what I mean? Which is okay. I mean, that's the thing. I think there's some incredible analysis coming out of this particular episode, which I love, and which is, that's why we do it. So, all right, Drew, what about you, man? What do you think? You got a couple names that haven't been mentioned either way, good, bad, ugly. What do you think?
Well, so I do like Kickstand. I think Kickstand is a great name. We own Crutch.com, and it's kind of the same thing. It's like everybody needs someone to lean on. You know what I mean? Kickstand.com. Yeah.
When we sing on this show, and I'm in the studio. You know what I mean? I might just lay the track down right now. I got a mic in front of me and everything. I got my boy Lincoln. He's ready to rap.
Let's go.
We're gonna do the hip hop version of Lean On.
That's probably that track's probably in the public domain too, right?
Ooh, let's go. We're gonna sample. Let's go. We getting after it.
Let's
doing
go.
it. It's coming out. The zoo. Lean on me.
All right.
But I'm with you. I like that name a lot. I know, it's funny because when we first started talking about it on the show, Alvin had a bit of a negative spin just based on his own personal deal with Kickstart, and for those of you who don't know, we own Kickstart.com. Alvin's got Kickstart Commerce. It's,
for those of you who don't know, just to be fair to myself though, I reached out to Alvin immediately. The moment I bought it, I said, Alvin, I just bought this name. I wasn't going to let it sit out there. If you want it, it's yours at cost.
He did.
I wasn't going to let that shit just sit out there. So I grabbed it and I said, Alvin, I just bought this name. I think it's probably more than you want to spend for your own brand. It's more than I'd want to spend for my own brand. But I'm putting it out there. You're my brother. If you want the name, it's yours at cost. He passed. So that's it.
Yeah.
So just wanted to, defend my morality.
No, that's good. After that way you started out the show with your political views, I think it's important you let people know you are a human being, man.
There was no
You know what I'm
self-interest in
saying?
that.
Like, he's like, I'm not a robot, just out for the paper. I'm here for my people as well.
Right.
And so I agree with you though. I think I like Kickstand a lot on this list. I think, again, Esteban appraisals being what they are, we're not promoting those or anything. We're just saying it's another data point to create conversation and just, and in some cases it does anchor some people. There's a heuristic, sort of element there for people who don't do a lot of other research, right? Which I would say is a mistake.
If you don't have a brain, you don't know where, you need a bait. You need like an anchring point somewhere, right?
Somewhere.
So
Right.
if you don't know how to do critical thinking, then you got to rely on.
You got to be induced.
Publicly available induction.
Anyway, but yeah, so Kickstand I think is a good one, especially in that price range. I mean, I think that's
thank you for taking over my turn.
Sorry, go ahead, man. Keep going. Go, Drew. Go,
All
Drew.
Right. I like snow boots because there's also, not only is it just a good, e-commerce brand, but like snowboots.com, like there's like a whole category of these like fancy ass Eskimo looking female boots. And my wife bought a pair and them things are crazy expensive.
Yep.
And, it's like literally like Eskimo boots. I don't know if that's publicly, politically correct or not, but
Probably
they're
not.
warm as hell. And I'm like, I'm feeling them. And, like my wife's like the cheapest human being alive and she bought them. So my guess is like, there's a lot of people buying really expensive Eskimo boots.
Oh yeah.
So snowboots.com, to me, that's a great domain.
Did anybody
like
see the thing
a
recently?
There's like a niche little business there that probably isn't that little.
Well, did anybody see the thing recently where Fat Joe's wearing the Kanye boots like on the streets in New York, and he also had a kind of like this snow jacket, and he looked like he looked like that Steve Buscemi meme where it's like, hey kids, you know what I'm saying? He looked like Goofy, you know what I mean? And look, it's Fat Joe, mad love and respect, but
I mean, when does Fat Joe not look goofy, man?
Dude, but he's wearing those big old boots, and it was like people like roasted him on Instagram,
I got no love for
Twitter,
Fat
and all
Joe,
that.
man. It's the moment that clown came out with his first track, I was like, "What's this dude doing?" Like,
oh wow, you're getting pretty. Let's.
It's like he must be that dude that Jay was talking about. Like, dude paid somebody to get up on stage for 20 minutes. You know what I'm saying?
Oh man. All right. Well, hey, I didn't mean to make it. I just think it's funny they roasted him. All right, keep going, man. Go.
I just bought some snow boots. I just bought some Adidas snow boots. So.
Ooh, Adidas. Let's go.
They're not cheap.
The truth is, I don't really like oneshare.com that much, but it's one of these names that will probably sell for like $250,000 at some point.
Yes.
I've sold like literally, I couldn't even tell you, but it's like 5 or more brands that started with one or ended with one or the other, but probably equal distribution. And not the number one, but literally the word one. And I've sold them for prices ranging from $50,000 to the most expensive one that went for $500,000. So, and these are all 2-word.com domains where one of the words was the word one, spelled out, O-N-E. So oneshare.com, if you say, what's that domain? It's like, I don't love that domain, but I've just seen so many of these names trade for such crazy prices that's one of those names that probably pops off at some point. And it seems to have a lot of traffic, which is another indication that there's demand out there. There might be trademarks, so do your own, due diligence, do your own research. But that to me seems like a name that probably sells for a pretty big multiple of what it'll sell for on NameJet.
It was a developed site.
Yeah, underwriting.net is probably the last one I'll touch on. And it's just, look, underwriting.net, it's like probably one of the world's least sexy businesses. Nobody gives a shit, but it literally is what makes the insurance business go round. And these are some of the biggest, most cash heavy corporations on the face of planet Earth. And one of them will pick that name up for, a 4 or potentially 5-figure amount.
Yeah,
Um,
I agree.
but
about
you
that
got to go
news.
out. You know, they're not going to come knocking. Nobody's going to come and be like, "Oh yeah, we wanted to buy underwriting.net for $7,500 on Afternic." No, that's not the play. If you want to buy underwriting.net, it's go knock on the door of all the large underwriters. There's probably not a lot of them, right? But
Right.
like you go knock on 20 doors, you're going to get somebody that'll say, "Yeah, I'll give you 25 for it." So I think that's the play.
Yeah, no, I think that I would agree. I think that's a good one. I actually think, yeah, one share for me, it has a crazy amount of potential. I mean, like you said, domains that start with the word one, have do very well. I see that as like a fractionalizing kind of, type of platform. I think as that has become more and more popular, Rally Road, by the way.
Oh man, one share. I didn't
Isn't
even
that
think about it
Microsoft?
in terms of shares.
Yes.
Oh wow, I didn't even think about that in terms of like, get one share.
Yes, one share. Like it's a Rally Road type platform.
Oneshare.com. Get yours.
Yes, get yours. You know what I mean?
Oh man, I love this name.
So we probably shouldn't have put it on the list, to be honest, but it's
Billy, delete that section, please.
delete it. When does it go off? 10 days? We won't publish this for 2 weeks. The list is completely irrelevant at this point. But yeah, I love it for something like that. By the way, we do have some other names are coming up soon on Rally Road. So everybody, can we say that? Can we tell people like, when the next group,
Yeah. Yes, there's, I don't think we have an exact date yet, but there is another offering. This offering will be a basket of 5 3-letter.com domain names.
Yep. And so check it out. That's the next move. Pretty excited about that. And I think also the name that nobody mentioned that I also like is smartforum.com. I think that, online contracts, smart contracts.
I didn't even actually see that one, but I like that too.
Smart form for me, I think is cool. Like, cause again, you got smart contracts, you've got online contract platforms, Sign Now, DocuSign, all that kind of stuff. I think there's a lot of
also
potential
3D printing.
Yep.
Ooh, I like that too. Yeah.
The survey makes me think of Survey Space.
Yeah.
Like Survey Monkey or something.
Yep. 100%. So exactly, like forms and fill out, like, add into mailing lists and, all that other kind of stuff, just gathering information. Yep.
If I were
Typeform,
I'd be like, yo, I want to be smart form.
we're smart form now. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think
Words that start with smart. Domains that start with smart have always done well.
So those two were two good ones, and so I think we cover. I mean, look, there's a lot of names on the list. Everybody, you know the deal. Go, you can download the Excel spreadsheet right from the DomainSherpa website. It'll give you a little bit more information too, searches, CPC, give you the direct links so you can go in. We don't have any kind of an affiliate deal there, so you don't have to use that sheet, but we do provide this information so that you can go and get get easier access and a few data points to help move you along on your way. Hopefully this helps. We gave you a lot of names to take a look at, some names to avoid, and some great analysis. So this was great. We've got about 3 more minutes before we got to jump. So really quick, we'll go around the horn. I know we just mentioned the new offering coming up soon on Rally Road. Keep an eye out for that. Drew, you got anything else that you want to mention?
No.
All right, cool. All right, Braden, what you got? You got anything else on your end that you want to?
God, I don't know. I don't think so. I think we need more podcasts. That's not a lot. Everybody's dropping off. Keith dropped off. Josh dropped off. I mean, what happened?
We're going to keep pumping out our content, man. So we've got some plans.
Still hanging in there.
You're still,
Yeah.
We got Alvin's pod. We got Andrew's got his pod and DomainSherpa. Is there anything else?
No, but we're going to fill in some gaps. I mean, we got, the goal here as we move into 2022, across various, areas too, though, domains. We're obviously going to continue to talk about crypto and NFTs.
Part of the problem was that this guy got dementia and he just forgot that we're in the domain business. And so,
hey, man, I don't even know what you're talking about. What did you?
He's so excited making all that NFT money.
Hey man, it goes fast though. We're spending it as quickly as we're making it. We got a lot of stuff going on our NFT side. But here,
Yeah,
what's
stuff.
up? What's up now? Oh, your boy Lincoln Abraham. I just walked out the booth. Now I'm here with y'all. You called and I came.
Somebody
And
stop. Somebody stop.
what's up? What
Once he
up?
got himself a Tesla with that NFT money, then it was
Hey,
all
hey.
It was
For
all
what it's
done.
worth, too, that was from selling a couple of things. Shout out to the BAYC because it was actually when I sold the dog, Fallout Boy. That's where that. But I'm selling my Tesla. I think I'm going to get a truck because the Tesla's a little bit too much. It thinks it's smarter than I am, and I don't like that. It wants to tell me drive this fast or don't do that, and the full driving capability is not as slick as it wants me to keep touching the wheel. It doesn't want to let me just take a nap while it drives. So but it's all good. Anyway, all right. Alvin, what about you, man? Since these guys, let's change the subject a little bit since they feel like they can just mess with me and stuff. But
Well, they're just keeping you truthful. That's
yeah,
all.
hey, look, man, it's all good. We are doing great things, man. I'm excited. Like everything we're doing on the collecting side of NFTs has been great. A lot of fun. Things have been pumping. 8bin, we got crazy stuff happening with 8bin. Y'all stay tuned. That's gonna just keep getting better and better. And and that space is wild. But like I've said from the jump, this all falls under the umbrella of digital assets. So, for the domain folks who've been ignoring NFTs, you do that at your own sort of peril. I mean, you don't have to do anything that we are into, but and Shane and we've been all kind of, we've been banging this drum for a year now of just the stuff, just telling people what we're into. And it's just been a lot of fun. It continues to be a lot of fun. The space continues to change though. It's interesting. There's certain aspects of it that are becoming more kind of corporate. You've got new folks that are coming in. Some things are harder. Some things continue to remain sort of easy and fun. And, but I still am a big Web3 believer. I think the space will not look like it looks, just like it doesn't look like it did a year ago. It's not going to look the same 6 months from now, a year from now. It moves very quickly, but opportunities are, still there. And, and I think if you approach it with the right mindset, I mean, it's fun and there's definitely some stuff to do. So anyway, and like I said, it all falls under our umbrella. So you tell me about being distracted, but it's still core to the mission of preaching the gospel of digital assets to everybody. And I will say, as I've always said, if you are a good domainer and you can do very well in NFTs because you are used to spending money on speculative digital assets in a relatively illiquid market, and you understand how to dive in and get to the data that matters, identify trends, find opportunities to buy low and sell high, which is why you've got guys like Hiran who have done incredibly well, as well as, a bunch of other folks who have been able to really do well in the space, and we've been having a blast also shifting from the collecting side to the creator side, with 8bin, and big shout out to Timberland and Beat Club and all of our partners over there and the team there. As we're also kind of transitioning from our initial project into, the ongoing enterprise and all of the cool shit that we got going on. The video for Ape Shit's coming soon, as well as a whole bunch of other crazy stuff that we'll be able to share with people as we go. Anyway, so there you go, Drew. You made me have to go off on all that kind of stuff and just kind of go off on my rant. You know what I'm saying? You're welcome. Alvin,
hard to take a monkey serious.
Hey, man, whatever, man. Check my floor price, son. You take me serious when you check my floor price.
There we go.
All right,
Hey,
go
I will
ahead.
say this though, JT. I will say this. You mentioned Hiran, and he and I will have a show that will drop on Kickstart.
Ooh. All right, great.
FM.
All right,
Good
Kickstart.
segue.
Everybody, perfect. Yeah, everybody get to Kickstart.fm. When's that show going to drop?
I don't know as of yet because I would love to be able to get somebody by the name of Drew on the show. So
Yo,
we've got to
listen, I
get
try not to be sensitive, but the last time I checked my inbox, I had never had an invite.
You did?
What?
Oh
No.
JT, hold on.
I don't know.
We gotta go look now.
Let me cut through this. Alvin, just email him an invite and it'll all be over. We don't have to go back and forth with when and you said and you asked him and he was going to get back and just email him. And
He never got back, but I'm gonna
you
email
look how busy lives. We didn't need to hear about your bickering.
No, man.
Exactly.
The reason I even say it like that is for one reason alone. And that was that I don't remember who. I think it was JT. JT got invited on the podcast, and I was like, "Man, you got invited. I've never even got an invitation to the podcast."
We had a great show. That was a lot of fun. And, and then we still got to have some, we got to figure out some ways to do some work together, though, because you are one of the top guys in the space, kind of back to Braden's point, and as we're trying to continue to crank out content and things, I know we've started to have some of this dialogue offline, so we don't need to keep having this conversation in public, but we talked about it also on your podcast. And it's like, there's some opportunity there too, man. We're going to, we're going to talk. Let's talk. So.
Indeed.
All right, so Kickstart.fm, you got anything else?
Wait. Here it is.
He went to the archives.
It was on December the 13th. December the 13th.
Of this year, of last year?
At 9 a.m. I said, yo, Drew, I hope all is well with you and your family and the media options team. The time has come, my man.
All right, bye-bye, everybody.
Availability over the next 2 to 3 weeks.
Receipts have been brought in. Receipts have been brung.
and I'm gonna forward it.
I'm gonna
forward that to me because I'm looking. I don't see anything. I got. Here we go.
Wrap the show.
Yeah, I know exactly. Hey, with that,
I got
how many times I gotta say
it?
Do it.
Domain
insight.
Domain.
Thanks
I got all
for coming, everybody.
All right, I do. I want to. Hey, so Alvin, you got anything else to promote?
That's it. Kickstart.fm.
All right, man. Everybody, please check that out. There's some incredible content. And don't wait for the new show to drop. Go check out some of the old episodes. There's definitely, Alvin's one of the best doing it. And y'all got to go check that out. Now, I want to say thank you to my co-hosts. As always, appreciate you guys, man. This was a lot of fun. I think we got this was excellent insight and analysis today. This was an all-star crew. I wouldn't expect any less, and this was fantastic, so appreciate that. And as I say on every single show, thank you to the audience. Without y'all, there's no us. We're here. Hit us up. You have any questions, thoughts, comments, whatever. We're not hard to find. You can either find us, on Twitter, find us in the studio, or just, hit us up on the blog and all that good stuff. So we appreciate y'all and thank you so much. And we'll see everybody next time. Oh, and thank you to our sponsors, especially Dan.com and NameJet. And we will see everybody next time here on Domain Sherpa, where all roads lead to domains. Peace out, everybody.
Bye, guys.